acted as a basis of my experiment as a whole. Then I will be going into the actual effects of yoga on Alzheimer's disease, either biologically or in a clinical trial. And then I will be going over my molecular testing that I conducted in the University of Victoria, British Columbia Biomedical Engineering Lab. And then I will be talking about my own personal trial that I conducted where I saw how easy or hard it was to actually conduct yoga in a lifestyle and implement that into my own lifestyle. So let's go over a brief overview of what Alzheimer's disease actually is. So in your brain right now, as you can see here, these are the neurites that relay messages towards one another in your brain. So this big little tangle that you see right here is the initial cell body that grows into your brain. And then from that, the dendrites spur off, and those are what relay the messages and really have an effect on the memory in your brain. So in an Alzheimer's model and in an Alzheimer's affected cell, what really makes it so detrimental is that these tangles and plaques that form are what cause memory loss, which is dementia essentially. So all of these neurites end up tangling together and they actually form these plaques. And this is what I tried to fight off in creating my own Alzheimer's disease model by replicating amyloid beta and the tau protein, which is essentially that works together where the neurites actually tangle up and entangle into the brain that causes that memory loss. And so now to a clinical study that was conducted from the years 2014 to 2019 with Dr. Julie Fields in the Mayo Clinic. So essentially what she did was she had a group of 272 couples with early onset Alzheimer's disease patients, and she split the group into one that did yoga for about 60 minutes a day, and then the other group into a group that conducted experiments such as walking and aerobic exercises. And once those were split up, she found that a significant conclusion to her results meant that the yoga actually slowed down the cognitive decline of the Alzheimer's disease patients versus the ones that just walked around or did aerobic exercises. And so why I actually got into this experiment initially is because Alzheimer's disease runs in my family. And one trip to India that I took, because my ethnical background is from India, and I found that my uncle didn't remember key components of his lifestyle, especially when he talked to my mom, despite actually growing up with her. To see that that dementia and Alzheimer's disease affects not only the person plagued by it, but as well as the people around you that really get plagued by the whole disease altogether. And that is why I wanted to look and kind of made it my own mantra to look at the effects of yoga and Alzheimer's disease, especially biologically, to prove that there was some link to it. And that leads me to how I implemented yoga into my own lifestyle. So really, I wanted to test how easy or hard it was to implement it into my own lifestyle, essentially to test and compare it to an Alzheimer's disease patient. So at first, I was quite skeptical to put it into my own lifestyle because I have a lot of things running into my mind per second every day, as you guys probably do as well. And actually focusing on the yoga aspects was quite hard for me, but then after a while, I started focusing on the specific movements of yoga, and then I ended up implementing it into my own lifestyle and really found that it was quite easy to develop that therapy into a person's lifestyle, especially working with different older patients that might be plagued with similar diseases and things like dementia. So once I found that it was actually clinically proven, I wanted to go into the lab and test it for myself. So essentially what I did was I wanted to create some really strong neurites to prove that Alzheimer's disease was actually working and could be modeled in the cell. So I grew two different types of neurons. The first were basal forebrain cholinergic neurons, and the second were neuroprotectors. I understand that these sound like mouthful, but essentially what they are different neurites that can be implemented into an actual petri dish in order to see that the neurites could be formed and made into the Alzheimer's cell model that I was able to create. So as you see here, the red shows a FOXGene1 gene, the green shows a TJ1 gene, and the blue shows a CHAT enzyme that codes for acetylcholine. And then the last image right here is all of these overlaid to really show you how the different Alzheimer's disease model was able to be created. So the first two genes that I mentioned really relate to Alzheimer's because it shows the specific neurotransmitters in the brain that's secreted during Alzheimer's disease, and that is why I decided to focus on these genes. And then over here, this enzyme of CHAT codes for acetylcholine, like I mentioned before, and that's a significant neurotransmitter in yoga therapy that's secreted in the brain, as well as a neurotransmitter that's secreted during Alzheimer's disease. And this is what lacks in an Alzheimer's disease cell model. So next, I wanted to show you the actual petri dish of the neural progenitors that I grew. So I created every test in triplicate, which essentially means I tested everything 3 different times to make sure that the conclusion was actually viable to a wide audience. And then next, I used a 100-well petri dish in order to get the most physiologically relevant concentration of neurotransmitters within the actual brain. And over here, as you can see, this is the aggregated amyloid beta that I mentioned before worked together with the tau protein that actually made the Alzheimer's disease so aggressive. So I also went in and 3D printed some Alzheimer's disease tissue. So essentially what you see here is the BioAspect 3D system printer is what I worked with, and you see 2 different pipes coming together. So one pipe shows the different cells that integrate into the actual petri dish, and then the other is specific media that works together to round itself into these little rings, and that's what's the 3D printed tissue. So how it works is the cells kind of overlay on top of each other with the media, and once it mixes together, it forms an actual tissue that's able to bind together and really mimic a human tissue. And the reason for this is because it really cuts out the middleman for animal testing, which means it's more ethical and more financially beneficial. And I'll go into more of the benefits later on. So now that I have 3 different types of cells, I wanted to test the actual Alzheimer's disease model and made it really aggressive. So essentially what I did here, in the darker parts of the graph, you see that the percentage of cells that were thriving were quite high, which meant that there was no amyloid beta yet caused and affected in the actual neurons. Then over here in the lighter parts, you see that after 48 hours of incubation of amyloid beta, the percentage of cells really decreased, which essentially meant that we were able to create the strongest Alzheimer's disease model possible. And that is what we used as a basis for the neurotransmitter application. And this is how it connects all together with yoga. So during yoga movements, and specifically in yoga meditative practices, we can look at the different neurotransmitters that are secreted during yoga. For example, there was dopamine and serotonin, and then histamine and serotonin, and then we compared all of that together to the control of no neurotransmitters, and then the positive control of all the neurotransmitters all together. And so as you see here, the highest percentage of cells thriving was in the histamine and serotonin part. And the main reason for this, and why I hypothesized that was actually true, was because of something called the nitric oxide synthesis theorem, which essentially states that during Alzheimer's disease, especially when it's degenerating, these specific neurotransmitters work together in the brain to regenerate those neurites in the actual petri dish. And I compared all of this to positive control of all the neurotransmitters together. And the main reason why I believe that this bar graph didn't reach to the level of histamine and serotonin and didn't have the most significant percentage of cells thriving, I found that if I conducted this experiment again, I would ensure to get the most physiologically relevant neurotransmitters secreted individually rather in all in a group together, just so I could retest it and actually find what's most relevant. And so now let's talk about the actual benefits of yoga and 3D printing as a whole. So with 3D printing, like I mentioned before, it cuts out the middleman of the animal testing, which means it's more financially beneficial because these labs are quite unnecessary at that point, which means it's also more ethical because no animals might die or actually get the side effects of these things that we're testing on. And with yoga, one of the most beneficial things is that I hope to have it as a therapy that can be induced and prescribed into an actual Alzheimer's disease patient rather than having FDA-approved drugs that might have side effects that might actually injure or hurt the Alzheimer's brain more than the drug would help it. And so that leads all me to my current and future work that I've been planning to do. So I reached out to Dr. Julie Fields, who, like I mentioned before, conducted the clinical study on yoga. And unfortunately, it came that my proposal didn't meet ethical standards with the IRB because it's quite difficult to get an Alzheimer's disease group together to actually take out their blood and test their different neurotransmitter levels. So essentially what I did was I'm working again with the University of Victoria in British Columbia, Canada, which is where I conducted my biological research. And I plan to take a group of 60 Alzheimer's disease patients and splitting them up into 2 different groups and taking out their blood platelet levels and their serum levels and looking at the different neurotransmitters that are secreted before and after yoga induction. So once I plan to do this, I want to continue this experiment to go further on. So as you can see by now, I put my heart and soul into this experiment, and I don't plan to stop. This is what I continue to do in the future. So the implement yoga as a prescribed therapy in early onset Alzheimer's disease patients, especially ones that struggle from the years of 40 to 60 years old. I really think that implementing yoga is a more financially beneficial as well as a more ethically beneficial way of improving and slowing the cognitive decline in actual Alzheimer's disease brain. I would like to thank the University of Victoria Biomedical Engineering Lab, especially Megan Robinson and Dr. Stephanie Willard, who were kind enough to get a high school student into their graduate student lab, Mr. and Mrs. Walk and Mrs. Ed, as well as my faculty advisor, Mrs. A, and my college counselors, Mr. Brundage and Mrs. Andrews. Now I open it up to questions, and if I can't get to your question, please feel free to email me, and I'd love to send you my accepted publication in the Carter Journal of Cells, Tissue, and Organs, and I'd love to share my paper with you. So thank you so much.